you by saying congratulations on this brand new album, but also congratulations on the single Greenlight. We've played it a couple of times on our show now, and it's getting great feedback, so congratulations.
Oh, awesome. That's really good to know.
So, mate, tell us a little bit about the band. This is the first time that a lot of listeners here in Australia are getting to know the band and getting to hear the band. So tell us a little bit about the history of the band to date.
Yeah, well, we formed in 2014. This is actually our second album that we've released. The first one, called Skyscraper Heartbreaker, was released, that must be 2015. Yeah, so it's been 5 years since our last album. But obviously a lot of that's been sort of taken up with, all the lockdowns and all that. We were hoping to release this album a couple of years ago, but that's things kind of got in the way. But yeah, we've been in sort of plenty of bands separately and together, like for years and years, really. Me and one of our guitarists, Mark, we ended up in Australia actually about 15 years ago. Our band at the time was kind of looking at maybe moving over to Australia, but it didn't end up happening. But we had a bit of a taster, so it kind of became a bit of a spiritual home as well, which was great.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about this brand new album. You mentioned that it's been a few years between albums, but of course we had COVID in the middle. What was it like?
Yeah.
What was it like working on this album with everything that was going down? Because you guys had lockdowns the same as what we did.
Yeah. So we'd got a few months into making the album already, so it was obviously a bit frustrating where we had all the drum tracks done, for example. And but at that time, once the drums were all done, our drummer at the time had decided he couldn't really commit to the band anymore, so he was sadly leaving. But what happened was we ended up with someone who'd been in the band previously rejoining. But obviously, it was great for him to be rejoining, but we couldn't really rehearse with him much because obviously all the lockdown. So he's been sort of sitting twiddling his thumbs for the last sort of 18 months. He didn't get to play on the album, so he's now sort of learnt songs, and we're sort of now getting ready to sort of start doing some shows again. But yeah, we'd had all the drums done, and then we were kind of slowly having to sort of go in and do all the bass tracks, then sort of do some guitars. But every time we sort of got somewhere, there'd be another couple of months where we couldn't get in, because there was another lockdown, or so it's been frustrating. But then the last sort of 6 months, we've been able to speed things up and get everything finished, which is great. And now it's finally ready. We're kind of ecstatic, really.
Awesome. Did you have kind of a goal or something that you wanted to achieve with this album when you went into to start, I guess, writing it even before recording it?
Well, we'd already been sort of writing even before our returning drummer had left. So we'd written a couple of songs that ended up in the album before he'd left originally. So we'd sort of, we tend to write a lot really quickly. So, for example, during lockdown, we've already written another album's worth of songs because we've still been in between writing the rest of it, finishing the rest of the album, but then writing new songs. So you're kind of, I don't think we had a particular plan other than we want to get some new songs out.
Yep.
And the thing is, like, a lot of the songs and lyrics have probably been coloured a little bit by lockdown, we've had obviously things like Brexit over here, so you end up getting influenced by some of the stuff you see going on around you. You've had, in the States, you've had Trump and all the stuff that's been going on over there, so you kind of some of your opinions and things seep their way into the lyrics.
Yeah, that was actually my next question. What kind of things were inspiring you? But did you kind of find that as a way to let out your opinions out into the ether and get them out of your system a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. Well, we try to be one of those bands who sort of leave our lyrics kind of open to interpretation. So, I might write a particular line, but try and leave it a little bit. It's not saying, "Oh, look at Trump, isn't he horrible?" You're just kind of maybe using his sort of personality, for example, as a basis of a, a launch point, I suppose, of like making little comments and little digs here and there. But yeah, it's you try not to be too on the nose, I think is the phrase.
Definitely, yeah. And now that things are opening back up over there, what's that like for you guys? Are you able to get out and do some shows now and get things rolling again, or are you kind of still restricted? Because I know here we're open, but there's still restrictions on how many people you can have in a crowd and things like that.
Yeah, it was like that up until well, they tried to have, they called it Freedom Day in the press, which, well, it was more the government sort of said, let's have this Freedom Day, and it's a lot of people I think were, COVID's gone, everything's fine again, which isn't the the actual reality, but they started opening venues and things up more. So, I mean, we managed to do one show which had been postponed from last year. We did one show with some friends of ours at like a local venue, and what they'd been doing throughout lockdown is having. I mean, it's pretty rare for a British venue to have an outside stage. I mean, I know in Australia there's like a lot of venues have outside stages, but this is quite a rare venue to have an actual decent outside stage. So what they did is they'd spruced it up, did like lots of really good lighting, added an outside bar, all that sort of thing. So during the summer, it was quite nice here to be able to play there and put on a show. And I think people were kind of anxious to sort of get out and start seeing gigs again.
Yeah.
So it was good to sort of have them out there. But now things have sort of carried on. Although, looking at figures and things, you think, well, the COVID cases are going up again. At least a lot of people are vaccinated now, so they've kind of said, well, you can carry on having indoor shows now. So we're actually playing tomorrow night at the same venue, but we're able to play in their sort of bigger inside venue, which would be nice.
Awesome. And what are your plans from here on in? Like, now that things are opening back up a little bit, what are your plans? Are you hoping to do a bunch of shows, or are you actually, because you said you've got so many tracks written, are you hoping to head back into the studio and start to record soon?
Yeah, I think we'll have a bit of a breather. So it would be nice to start doing shows again in the new year. I think it tends to be here at the moment. I think because a lot of things have been pushed back. Trying to book gigs now is you're finding that you're having to book stuff like 6 months in advance at least. So we kind of we've got our launch show tomorrow, but as far as our next shows, we've got to sort of start booking those for next year now. So hopefully we'll get some more shows lined up, and in the meantime we kind of almost immediately want to start working on the new songs, because they're all in sort of demo form, because it's good you can do demos at home, but then, for example, our drummer hasn't been able to play on most of the new stuff yet, so he'll we'll spend a bit of time working on the really new material and get that going, and hopefully by the time we're playing more shows we'll have some even newer stuff to play as well.
Definitely. And now the band's starting to get a little bit of traction here in Australia as well. You mentioned before about wanting to bring your old band to Australia. Would you ever consider an Australian tour or something during the Australian summer as well?
Yeah, I mean that'd be awesome. Yeah, I mean we've got a lot of sort of friends particularly in Perth, Melbourne, and even Sydney as well. It's that would be a bit of a dream gig to come and particularly play those cities. We've got a bit of history. I mean, I was last over about 3 years ago, but visiting friends. But we there's a few bands we know at the moment, particularly it's a band called Reinhardt's. Do you know them?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, Reinhardt's. Yeah. Good friends with Mitch and Ben from from that band, and there's Lonesome Dove as well. We've sort of we know Nicky from that band, so yeah, hi to them if they get to listen to this show, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, it'd be great to sort of come over at some point. You know, with those sort of things, there's a lot of logistics. You know, people have got families and jobs and things like that. So, but yeah, it would be great to do.
Now, for our listeners out there who are falling in love with your music, how can they go about grabbing a copy of the album if they want to go the whole hog and grab a copy of the album and maybe buy some merchandise as well?
Well, actually, yeah, so we've got the new album is going to be on like every streaming platform worldwide from tomorrow, the 12th. So it'll be, you know, on Spotify, Apple Music, everything really, you know, wherever you get your streaming content, I should say. But we've also got a Bandcamp page, which you can actually get merch from, and obviously sort of, if you buy the album or listen to or stream the album on there, it's sort of, we get the most of the you know, most of the proceeds go to the band rather than Spotify or Apple Music. So we always like to sort of direct people to Bandcamp really. So yeah, if you just search for Trash Heads on Bandcamp, you'll find us. We're up there. We've got a few, you know, obviously our back catalogue's on there, and you know, and Spotify and everything. So yeah. It's all out there.
Awesome, and we'll share that link as well so that people can go directly to your Bandcamp. Well, I think now on our show it's time to play Green Light again. So what would you like to say to all of our listeners out there before they take another listen to this amazing track?
Well, we hope you enjoy it, and yeah, check us out online. We're obviously on Facebook and all those sort of things, so Instagram. So yeah, get in contact, give us a shout, and yeah, tell us what you think. And happy listening.